So this morning we're looking at personality profiling with Sally Brookes, and we're just catching up with everyone to get an insight into personality profiling and them and their business. So we've just got a few people to check in with. So Ellen, over to you. It's personality profiling. What's it like for you?
I'm definitely into learning more about myself and my own personality, but it's important for me in selling to my customers, I think, understanding their personality type and what hits home for them more. So yeah, I've done a bit before through my coaching course, but yeah, I can't wait to learn more about it. I've got the books actually, but I haven't actually read them, so this will be the kick in the butt to get me moving. Yeah.
And even down to things like, learning styles, people looking at taking their learning online, do they understand their learning style? So that they're very careful about how they shape information and what's the learning style of, your ideal learner for your program as well. That's part of personality profiling. Over to you, Amy. So what's your experience with personality profiling? Oh, you're on mute, Amy.
Am I off now?
You're off now? You're off now.
Yeah. I've done a few in different businesses, and I think it's a great information tool, especially with like employees, employers, and getting to know each other's strengths and how you work. So I think it's a great tool to help a business to run and build. And again, for your clients, understanding the different personality types that you could have in your programs, and then how to use your program to get the best out of them. I think it's a fantastic tool, but you have to use it. There's no point in doing all of that work unless you're going to actually implement it. Otherwise, you've wasted your time and money.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And Yvonne, can you come off mute and share with us your experience of personality profiling?
A bit like Karen, I've done Myers-Briggs years ago, and I've done one quite recently. I've been doing some work with Tony Robbins, and I've done one of his, and it's just quite illuminating, really. But I think there are certain people you can work with.
Yeah.
So it will be really useful to know how I can, niche into the right people and get rid of the people who are hard work and high maintenance.
So we're really building this up for you now, Sally. You're
I know.
Pressure this morning. Before we start, I just thought I'd share with you a very funny story. As you know, I've delivered all of these programs called Managing Difficult People, and I did one for a very large Welsh government organisation who got the brief wrong, and instead of sending us the people that manage the difficult people, they just sent us a cohort of their most difficult people they employed in the organization. And as I walked into the room, I could just sense the atmosphere, thinking there's something gone wrong here in the selection of the candidates for this program. And I thought within 5 or 10 minutes, they were all going to kill one another. So luckily I had some of those old-fashioned chocolate eclairs in my bag. So I had a couple of bags of these chocolate eclairs. I ripped them up and put them on the table. And I said, whenever you feel you're going to say something nasty to somebody that's not supportive, what I'd invite you to do is to have a chocolate eclair and look at them and try and run their endearing qualities through you. They spent all day eating chocolate eclairs. A whole day people ate chocolate eclairs. It was the most hysterical training program I've ever delivered in my life, and I couldn't wait to come home. So without further ado, we have Sally here this morning, who's going to be showing us how we can use these profiling tools in our businesses, on ourselves, could be during recruitment, could be recruiting new clients. So could we put our hands together and invite Sally to the virtual floor?
Yay! Thanks, Cheryl. Cheryl, can you allow me to share my screen, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to put us on speaker.
Thank you.
And so we can see you, and we've got multiple users. So over to you, Sally.
Fabulous. Let me share my screen. She says, what's going on there? And can you see?
We can see the screen now.
That's the wrong one. No, we're showing the right one. We're fine. Okay, let me pull it over here, otherwise I'll be looking the wrong way all the time. Okay, so no pressure this morning. Lots of experienced personality profiles, lots of experience of doing something different. Which screen am I sharing? I'm sharing the wrong one, I think, aren't I? I'm sharing my screen.
You're saying discover your personality profile.
Let me change it. Let me just change it. I'll share this one. There we are. That's the right one. Okay, so many of you know me already. Sally Brookes, I'm a leadership trainer. I'm also psychology trained. I got starting to study a little bit into therapy and things like that because I think there's so much overlap in there. I am a little bit spiritual as a leader as well. So, and I believe that spirituality is the most undervalued quality a leader can have. I'm the founder of Self-Actualized Leader, which I've been running with my corporate clients for about 10 months with some really amazing results, actually. So this idea of self-actualized leader is based on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs triangle. And it's that idea of when you become really comfortable with your own leadership and you become really, it just becomes easy because you have the knowledge around the systematic thinking, but you also have the ability to emotionally apply it as well. So it takes away imposter syndrome. It's really powerful. It has really good results. I deliver insights discovery. I'm a licensed practitioner, and there's something that a few of you might be interested actually, and not wanting to do a sales plug, but just from some of the things a few of you said in the start. Because I'm a licensed practitioner, essentially I'm a franchise owner. So if any of you want to buy profiles that then you can sell on to your clients, I can do that as well. That is part of my license, part of my agreement. So if you like this profile today, you can actually buy these profiles for your clients as well. Wasn't going to mention it, but it might be of interest to some of you. So let's step into the journey. I work, as I said, with Insights Discovery because I think it's the best one. And my slides aren't switching. Yep, they are. So Insights Discovery then, it's a global brand. They're based in Scotland. They are absolutely massive. I came across it in believe it or not, of all places, Pret-a-Manger, because the staff there were really good. And I was in Paddington Station one day and I just started talking to the staff and I was like, you've got a really good team vibe here. You seem to all know yourselves really well. And they were like, oh yeah, we've been through this big Insights Discovery thing. And I was like, okay, tell me a bit more about this. I'd heard of Insights before, but similar to lots of you, I'd only done Myers-Briggs or I'd done DISC training as well. As I started to look into Insights Discovery, it's based on the psychology of Carl Jung, and I'm a huge fan of Carl Jung anyway. So I really, really started to love it, to be honest. And it's simple. So what Insights Discovery says, there's 72 different personality profiles. Now, we can't crazy, but what that does for me is say how diverse we are as an organization and how diverse we are as people and how diverse we are as a society. And when you think every time we interact with somebody, they could be one of 72 personality types, it's a great thing for us to say that we're really good at communicating, we adapt our style really well, we can adapt according to everybody we're with. Well, we got one of 72 personalities to choose, you know, it becomes really muddy. So what Insights have done is then categorize those into 4. And the 4, I think, work. On my experience, I must have rolled this out to in excess of 10,000 people, and it does work. I've never seen a profile come back that is wrong or that doesn't hit home for somebody. So why do we need to know? Why is it that this can be so powerful? Well, Cheryl gave this in the introduction today. It's about connections and it's about those relationships that we build. And some of the relationships, I think it was Sarah who said you like to work with like-minded people. And that's because we don't get it. Of us running our own business is that we can be really picky around our clients and around who we choose to take on, who we choose to work with, etc. But what if we do end up with one that we can't work with, that we find really difficult? How do we adapt our style? And what is the shortcut then to adapting our style to get the best from these people? Some of you in this room might be parents, might have children, and we all know our children are always very different. How do we get the best out of our relationship with our children? Because we'll have some we clash with, some we just don't understand. We just don't get it. We don't get why they make the decisions they make. So what I'm going to ask you to do today is think about some of the connections you have around you. Think about how those connections make you feel. Think about the people, they might be clients, they might be family, they might be prospect clients that you're struggling to engage with. And then we'll explore that a bit further. So Personality profiling always starts with us. As Cheryl said in the beginning, psychology proves that you can try and change the people around you, and sometimes you can influence them, but you can't change them. So it's about, let's learn who we are, let's learn our personal preferences, and then when we do that and we start to learn the preferences of others, we can adapt our style accordingly. So insights have this step-in thing. They do a lot with physical movement and things, because we know psychology, your state changes as you change your physical environment as well. So step one is to explore and discover more about yourself, which is what we're going to start to do today. You will leave here today with a tool that you can actually use. So within 30 minutes, I will give you something that you can start to apply this afternoon. Then step two is then learning how to recognise and appreciate the difference in others. I'm going to scratch the surface of this, but unfortunately I don't have time to give you this today. Step three then is adapting your behaviour so that you can interact with others. Again, we'll scratch the surface of this today, but it will develop over time. And then step four is applying your action. I will encourage you to do that following this session today, because as Amy said, it's all very well doing these personality things, but if you don't apply them, they almost become meaningless. So a lot of challenge comes from just different perceptions, different perspectives. We all see the world through a lens. Our lens is what is based on our values, our beliefs, our behaviours. It comes from one of our 72 personality types. You know, it comes from experiences we've had, past careers, etc. So it's all based on perception. So just very quickly, what you see when you look at this picture. Some of you will have seen it before. Anybody? Cheryl, I know you'll jump in. What do you see?
I see both the young woman, like a French lady, and I also see the old woman.
Okay. Anybody else?
I can just see the young woman. I know there's an older woman in there. I just can't remember how to sort of change around.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
No, yeah, I can see the old woman now.
Yeah. Okay. Just notice about the language we've used. She also said she's a young woman. Do we know she's young? What have we formed that opinion on? The old woman, do we know what she is? What have we formed that opinion on? You know, we make so many assumptions every day. We make assumptions based on our history, on our past experiences. I agree with you. For me, the young lady looks like the Cinderella Disney princess. The old lady is the Wicked Witch from Snow White. She scares the life out of me. But actually, if we take that a step further, what impact does that perception and that perspective have on me? So I'm going to jump to the next slide, because I'm sure you all saw the young lady. What I'm going to do is take you through this just in the interest of time. The event as the camera will capture it. I've immediately gone to that old lady's the Wicked Witch from Snow White. I've next data I've seen. So I've seen that old lady, and because I've made an association, because the Wicked Witch in Snow White is not a nice person, immediately that person in that picture was not a nice person. Yeah. Then I make value judgments. I don't want to engage with her. I don't like her very much. Then I give it meanings. She doesn't make me feel very good. I lady, she's scary, she's going to poison me. Then the conclusions I draw is, I need to keep myself safe here. I need to stay away from this lady. She's not a very nice lady. Then I have an emotional physical response where I actually won't go near her. I'm afraid, I'm frightened. Then I form beliefs. So by this point now, potentially I'm thinking that she's horrible. Her background is not nice. And then the action I take is then I share that opinion with lots of people. This lady is, and that she's scary and I don't like her. You know, is that fair based on a picture? How many times do we do that? How many times have you been perhaps in the supermarket and you've seen your next door neighbour and you're in such a rush that you run to the next aisle and go, "Oh, I can't stop her because if I stop, she's going to catch me for 20 minutes. I'm going to run around the corner." What do you think her perception is of you? For that person, it might be, "I saw Sally today and she ignored me. Oh my goodness, I must have done something to upset her. That's it, off my Christmas card list, dead to me, I'm never speaking to her again." It might just be that Sally was really busy. Sally has got children at home who need clean diapers, and I've got to get home really fast and give the diapers to them. You know, we all do it. What I'm encouraging you to do from this session is just start to notice how this can help you a little bit. So did you all have pen and paper to have?
Yeah.
Just some thumbs up. Pen and paper to have. Look at this list. I'm going to give you a couple of moments. And from this list, I want you to pick the 6 words that describe you the most. Now, I don't want you to overthink it too much. Just words that you feel best describe you. Just try and give me a thumbs up when you've finished and you've done it.
Something's gone wrong with the screen, Sally, and you've come off screen share.
Oh, have I? Okay. Let's stop and reshare.
I could see it.
I can't see it.
There we are. Try again. Got it?
Yeah, yeah, it's there.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Brilliant. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up when you're done. Anybody else finished?
I finished.
I mean,
Brilliant. Try not to overthink it too much. Did I freeze? My back. I think my screen is frozen. Are you back with me?
yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, let's go back into the screen share. What I want you to do now is have a look at these names again, and they're going to have colours next to them. Now, I want you to have a look and give yourself a tally chart of the words you chose, score them against the colours. So red would be maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 0. There's no right or wrong answers here. This is about you. Obviously, do the same for yellow, green, and blue. Count up your tally. What we're doing here is starting to shape your personality profile. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
I've just got
Yeah.
one word I can't find. It'll be there somewhere.
What is it?
Steady. It's got to be there somewhere. I'm sure it was there before.
Yeah, it would be.
Eddie's
have a
green.
look. Green. In the middle, third down on sort of the 4th column.
Got it. Thanks.
Anybody else struggling to find their numbers? Okay, so I'm going to make an assumption that everybody's done. Now, this is your personality profile. This is your leading colour energy. So I'm going to quickly go through you all and just see what your highest scoring was. Cheryl, for you?
Red.
Yeah, of course. Karen, for you?
Green.
Green. Okay. Leslie, for you?
Red.
Okay. Yvonne?
Blue.
Okay. Amy?
My red and green were equal.
Okay, yeah. Mel?
I was red and green as well, equally.
Sorry, say that again, you froze.
I was red and green equally.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Ellen?
2 red, 2 green, 2 yellows.
Okay, so mix. Okay. That could be something to do with maybe your personal life, your professional life, and not mixing the three. Sarah, for you?
Yellow.
Yellow. Okay. Right. So keep those colour energies in your head. These are known now as your colour energies. Ellen, we can pick another one later and perhaps find your stronger colour. But I'm going to, in the interest of time, I'm just going to go through these. So this is starting to now. These are the 4 personality profiles. In fact, let's go on to the next. Can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So these are the behaviours that are associated by these energies. Now, it's really important to say that we're actually a mix of all these 4 colour energies. We're not generally one or the other, but what we've done just there is identify what our preference for the colour energy is. So you know the expression revert to type? This would be your type that you revert to. So I think, Yvonne, you led with cool blue. So this would be that you're very cautious, very precise, very deliberate, very questioning, and very formal in your approach. So you would perhaps like quite a lot of detail. You would like a detailed explanation about things. People need to be very thorough in how they communicate with you. Don't give you a half-assed story. You're not interested. You want the detail around it and the context about where this has come from and how this would build for you. So that would be a cool blue energy. We move on to earth green. We had a couple of earth greens. Amy, you
Leslie, can you go on mute?
very relaxed, really chilled, you know, not a lot will get to them, not a lot will phase them. They'll always think about how everybody else is doing in the situation. So that would be an earth green. Sunshine yellow, you'll have no, you won't be surprised to hear I'm a raging sunshine yellow. So all jazz hands and all demonstrative, very enthusiastic, very persuasive, sociable, you know, and there's so many other things that go into this when you understand more about it. So fiery red, then we had a couple. Amy, you had a bit of red. Ellen, you had a bit of red. Mel, a bit of red for you. Leslie, a bit of red for you. Very competitive, very demanding, very determined, strong-willed, purposeful. Let's get it done. Come on. You know, very fast. You can imagine that some fiery red people don't like information, don't like detail. Just tell me what I need to know. Quick. Clash quite heavily with a cool blue person, huge clashes. So the example I always say is, and I'm stepping into my fiery red energy, put the kettle on. Brilliant. Okay, a cool blue person then step into that energy. I've gone and I've put the kettle on. Brilliant. I'm going back to my work. I'm going to carry on working. What do you think is happening to our fiery red person? They're suddenly starting to sit there. Where's my cup of tea? Where's my cup of tea? Flipping out, 20 minutes ago, I asked for a cup of tea. I'm now stropping, got the hump, got everything. Back into my cool blue energy. What's wrong with them? They asked me to put the kettle on. I put the kettle on. I've done what they asked me to do. They got the hump. Oh, I'm not working with them again. Dead to me off my Christmas card list. Yeah, so you can see how quickly things can escalate because of a lack of communication style. Because what the cool blue person needs to know is, actually, do you want me to make you a cup of tea as well as put the kettle on? Yeah, that's a really simple example, but you can see how that would play in the workplace or when you're engaging with a client. You know, if you don't fully establish your SLA as a fiery red, you could be caught out on all sorts of things. But by contrast with a cool blue, you can overthink it and you can have too much detail in the contract, which can also get you caught out. But when you're aware of these things, you can make the changes. So, and with that, as with everything, with these kind of good energy behaviors associated with the colours, there's bad energy as well. So these people, and you will start to now hopefully be placing yourselves, your friends, your colleagues, your family into maybe some of these boxes. You're starting to observe some of these behaviours starting to play out. Oh, before I move on, let me just say, this is one analogy I always talk about, and it's really interesting. So you imagine now, we're a blend of energies in this room. So we're going on a minibus and we're going to go to London and Yellow. So all Sally cares about this trip is, yay, we're all together, let's go and have lots of fun, and we're going to get to London and we're going to see the sights and it's going to be amazing. So that would be Sally's energy. Cheryl's energy would just be like, well, let's just hurry up and get there now then. I don't want to spend 2.5 hours in the bus. Come on, get to London. Right, when we're there, then we'll decide what we're doing. And that's how interested she is. Now, Yvonne would want to know, we're going to cross the Severn Bridge now. What's the weather like on the Severn Bridge? Is that going to close today? Are we going to get winds on the side? Let's double check. Cheryl's now going, stop the bloody thing. We're just going to London. I'm going, yeah, it's okay. It's all fine. We're all going to laugh. And then we'll have, who we got? Green. Karen. Karen will come in, who's Earth Green. And she'll go, I got sweets for the journey. I got food for everybody. We'll have enough water to go round. Because very caring. So can you see these energies starting to play out? We're all going on exactly the same bus in exactly the same direction, but our perception of that bus is very, very different. Can you see how that would work? Yeah. And as I said, with the... So when somebody upsets us, or we have a client that we can't deal with, our bad energy will show up. And we need to be aware of these things. But again, like anything, awareness allows you to change your behaviour. So for somebody who's cool blue, when they're feeling threatened or feeling uncomfortable in a situation, they'll become very cold, very stuffy, very indecisive, very suspicious of what the other person wants, very reserved in their behaviour. You know, a cool blue person, don't forget, they like formality. So somebody like me, Sunshine Yellow, I'm exaggerating my energy today, obviously for the purpose of the examples, but I'll chuck emojis over everything because everything's fun and everything's exciting. To cool blue, who's very formal in their approach, can you imagine the impact of emojis over everything for them? How does that work when we're working with a client prospect who's the cool blue energy? And we're suddenly now sending them emojis all over the place. They're instantly turned off. No matter how great our product is, they're... Okay, Earth Green. So this person, when they're threatened, so if we suddenly start telling Karen, no, we don't want any sweets on the bus, we don't want anything, oh, for goodness sake, why are you bringing all this stuff on the bus? Karen's going to get a little bit upset and a little bit hurt. So she'll come quite stubborn and she'll go, well, sod you all then. Well, then suddenly the bus breaks down and we all want Karen's sweets and chocolates. What do you think she's going to do then? You're not having them. They weren't good enough for you earlier. You ain't having them now. And this is how it plays out. They become, you've heard the expression, work to rule. They go very much introverted. Just do what I'm being paid to do. Just do the bare minimum. Yeah. Sunshine Yellow. You can see this start to play out with me whenever I'm under pressure. Very flamboyant, very excitable, indiscreet, frantic, hasty. I'm very frantic when I'm stressed. You know, are you starting to recognize some of these behaviors in you? So fiery red, what happened? Really aggressive, driving, get it done. They don't mean any of these things. So when our bus is broken down on the motorway, this person's going, right, get another bus, get over there, speaking to the driver like, you need to find us somebody to get us to London. We've got a show booked at 3 o'clock. You know, you can see these behaviours start to play out. Well, the impact that perhaps our Cheryl is behaving like that because she's acting from her heart. She wants to get us to London. Karen's going, oh my God, I can't believe you're speaking to him like that. That's really rude. Is it rude, or is it just our preference? And this is what we need to be aware of. Our preferences differ according to our personality type. And here you've started to see some of them. So I'm going to take you back 2 slides a second. Okay, so these are the type of things that would play out for the different colours. So find your leading colour, MG. So fiery red, really great, finger constantly on the pulse. Cool blue, sorry, couldn't remember my energy. Responsible, methodically, works well with facts or computer programmers. Always tend to be cool blue. Sunshine yellow, a lot of coaches are sunshine yellow, or a trainer certainly, because they like it. They like being kind of on the stage and having the people to engage. Green, sensitive to the needs of the group, a lot of nurses, doctors. You can see how these also affect the roles that you do. Red, sorry, I didn't give a job for that. It's usually a director or a manager of some sort. Blue, again, very logical in their thinking. Green can gain personal fulfillment through helping others. Red can generate fast results by prioritising well-taken action. Yellow, infectious enthusiasm. You know, you can start to see how these energies play out, how they show up in the people around you. Are any of you connecting with these energies yourself based on your top scoring colours? Yeah, I've got a couple of nods. Everybody? Yeah, you can see how powerful this information is. As I said, we're only looking at ourselves today, but then you can start to recognise things in others. I've given you some tips already, like the cup of tea. You know, you'll know you're dealing with somebody fiery. Now, if you're cool blue, it's up to you to ask the questions, because remember, you're not going to change them. The only person you can change is yourself. But you can ask for more detail. You can ask for more information. So let me just take you through. So again, I'll send these slides out, Cheryl. Maybe you'd like to circulate them to the group. But this is, if you're fiery red, these would be your sort of behaviours. These would be what to look out for. You'll notice it in emails as well. You know, if any of you've received an email from Cheryl, it'll only ever be 3 or 4 lines. Maybe if you've received an email from Yvonne, it'll be a story. And you'll notice that from your clients in the way they request information from you. This is a really powerful tool. And then, you know, if they are cool blue, when you sell back to them, certainly, Sarah, for you with the mortgages, you'll notice it. They'll want every single detail about what that mortgage is about, how long it lasts for. You know, where the fiery red person would be a bit more like, well, can I have that house or not? How you're engaging according to what you're observing. So the earth green as well. I am going to whiz through these, I'm afraid, but I'm going to send them out after. So, as I said, the most important thing to remember is that we have all these 4 colour energies within us. You know, we can tap into these. Just because I lead with sunshine yellow, it doesn't mean I can't be earth green. I'm actually actively sitting on my hands at the moment as I speak today, because I want to engage the earth green and the cool blue people. I change the tone of my voice. I can do the excitable bits, but I can do the also, you will have observed fiery red energy from me today. Let's get this done. I'm moving on from the slides. I'm going to send these out later. I step into different energies all the time, according to what I need, the message I need to convey. You can do this too, because once you know what they are, you can model these. You can watch Cheryl, how she communicates really fast, really effectively. You can model that behavior. You know, we get to share these experiences. We get to share these female empowerment things. We get to collaborate with people who are different to us, who have that diversity of thought. So Sarah, for you, when you said you like to work with like-minded people earlier, you probably do. You and I will connect really well with both sunshine yellow, you know, but the reality is you're closing yourself to 75% of the market, because you're only attracting your like people. If you really want the 100% of the market, work with the likes of Karen and Yvonne. And I'm sorry I've picked on you both today, but you led with the single energy, other people had a blend of energies, you know, and work with Cheryl, learn about their behaviours, learn about their styles, engage with them. How do you win them over? Because these are our trusted friends. These are our trusted friends in the network. You could honestly have a conversation with Yvonne and say, what would I do that would annoy you as a client? Because I know for Cool Blue, they don't want the hands, they don't want the enthusiasm, they don't want you to get excited about their mortgage, because they're not interested, to be quite honest. They just want the figures. As well about what will happen when that rate runs out. We can adapt our style to that because we're powerful people and we're clever people. We know our businesses. We can change according to who we're engaging with. Can you imagine what you could do if you knew yourself really well? So that's it from me. If any of you do want to know information, apologies, this is my sales plug. These profiles are 26 pages long. You can see the pictures here. They're incredible, honestly. They're so powerful. You can buy a sales module as well, which will tell you exactly how you need to sell to your customers. You can buy a manager's module, you can do them. They are £125 each, but honestly, I genuinely think they're worth it, but please don't feel you have to buy a profile. What I've given you today is enough. It's enough to start you working with the colour energies. But Amy, you said it when we started, you know, there's no point finding out about your profile energy and not using it. You have to start applying this colour energy today. When you leave this call, start to notice the behaviours in others and almost have a wry smile to yourself and go, there we are, sunshine yellow playing out. There's my earth green there, and notice the impact it has on you. So that's all from me. Hopefully you enjoyed that. You've all very quiet, and I appreciate there's a lot of information there, but Cheryl, I'm open to questions if we've got time, or
Yeah, sure.
maybe some discussion or some whatever.
Okay, that's great. Can we come off share screen, Sally, so we can take some questions? Fantastic. So who's got a question here? We've got some chat in the box. So who would like to ask some questions either about their profile or the kind of profiles they're working with, or perhaps the kind of profiles they would like to connect with? So over to you guys. You can just raise your hand and ask your question. Okay, Leslie, over to you.
I think it determines where you are in life, to what colour you are, because I'm going through a really bad time at the minute, bad energies with absolutely everybody. So everything, I'm frustrated by others if I can't get what I want, and I don't like others controlling me. So yeah, I can be aggressive, I can be controlling, I can be intolerant, but I'm also those other colours as well. I think it determines where you are in your life to how you are in your life. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
At the moment, I'm going through a bad time, so I'm like, ugh! But
Yeah.
I am earthy, and I can be, ah! But at the minute, I'm like, come on.
But the bad behaviours associated with the energy are taking forefront to the moment because you're in survival mode. So there's probably an elevated level of cortisol there. There's probably, you know, the stress. You're probably living in fight or flight mode at the moment as well. So you're so far in survival, you can't make a conscious choice really. You're just operating with survival, and that would be something slightly different. You would need to bring those levels down before you can start to play out the energies.
Perhaps I'm in the colour black.
Possibly. No, I think it's just it's a time where you've just got to be really kind to yourself, and really, really kind to yourself, and take those self-care moments, you know, because you have to get that level of cortisol back down. And you do that from breathing, you do it like a mindful walk. You need to clear your mind for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
because otherwise you will constantly be in the bad energies associated with the colours.
Okay.
And I guess, is there an element as well, Sally, if you know you're in your red box, it's knowing almost like you have red energy inside, and that aggressiveness for yourself inside them, that could cause yourself quite a lot of pain and discomfort and stress.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because of that laddered perception we looked at earlier as well, as how do others perceive you when you're in that thing? Because when you're surrounded by your friends, maybe your loved ones, we tend to make allowances. We tend to say that's not how they would normally behave. There's something going on here. how can we help you? How can we support you through this situation? But for those who don't know you, very similar to what I did with the picture of snow.
I think Sally's freezing.
Where your behavior affects my behavior, affects my attitude, affects your attitude, and you suddenly end up in this spiral where everyone's trying to outdo themselves, and you're in this nasty moment of conflict that neither of you intended to when you started, but it's just lack of understanding. And that happens in the example about the cup of tea, as I showed you. You know, when the communication isn't clear, perceptions take over and then aggression can come through. Whereas actually, if you just pause and say, I don't think you're understanding what I'm genuinely trying to say here. What I actually mean is this, and reframe what you're trying to do, it can have a massive impact. But you have to be brave enough to catch yourself. And you have to be brave enough that when you're feeling those frustrated things, to go, right, this approach.
And I know for me as well, when it comes to emails, I can do the very direct email piece. But now I'll be saying to myself, I've got to put a bit of Karen in here in order to soften it up. Okay, I'll put a bit of Karen. Hi, how are you? Whereas normally I'd want to go boom, 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 boom. Now I'll be consciously saying, right, I've got to put some Karen in here. Well, we need a bit of detail. I think I'll pull Yvonne in now. And I'll have a bit of green then of Ellen. Ellen can give me some green in here. So you could actually consciously write your emails differently, or even your social media posts, couldn't you? Because you could then just blend in, almost like looking at learning styles in a way, but thinking of how people are thinking and how can we incorporate those different people and their learning styles and their communication styles in what we do. I'd be saying, come on, Karen, come in here. I need a bit of Karen in this email, a bit of Ellen. And I think Yvonne should add a bit of detail into all this.
And that's the power of a network, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We have access to people like that, and we can ask those opinions of people.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much, Sally. I'd love to gather other people's feedback now. What have they got out of the session, and how are they going to put this learning to work in their business and in whatever capacity? So I'm going to come to you first, Karen. So how are you going to use this learning and put it into action in your business?
Well, I think for me, it's just recognising I don't want to work with blues.
Yeah.
I think for me, I was mainly green, so bit of yellow, tiny bit of red. But Cheryl knows me as well. I'm very competitive. You know, we're doing a course together, and if she gets a little bit ahead of me, I'm in there. I've got to get ahead of her again. So I think we're all a little bit of everything. It's just trying to sort of balance everything out, but I'm definitely not blue, so I don't think I would want to work with people that formal or anything like that with it. So I think it's just choosing who you want to work with and who you like as well.
I have to remind you, Karen, I'm probably ahead of you again now. Not that I'm
I know, and you don't know how much that is really annoying me at the moment.
Oh gosh, so funny. So over to you, Ellen. What have you learned, and how might you put it into action?
Brilliant. So yeah, I'm no blue at all in me. So does that mean that I would clash with blue people? Is that a clash if you haven't got that? Yeah, so I should avoid. Is that kind of a, because I laughed when the things came up and it said, you know, people are into figures and spreadsheets, and that's just not me at all.
And you know, sorry, my signal is really unstable, so I dropped out a little bit, but that is really powerful in a romantic relationship, because the likelihood is if you meet somebody who's cool blue, it will never work. However, if you need a PA in your business, cool blue is absolutely the energy you need, because they will complement you and they will plug your gaps. So, you know, my brother helps me in my business. My brother is the most cool blue person. We clash daily because we just don't communicate the same way. But thanks to Insights Discovery, we laugh it off. And he knows, he's like, right, dial down your sunshine yellow now, madam. And, you know, and it's kind of, that's how we've made it work for us. But yeah, romantically, you would never get on with the cool blue.
I can remember working with somebody who was a cool blue, and she did detail to such a degree, down to even the staff could not eat chocolate coated biscuits. We could only eat the plain biscuit. So of course I learned very quickly, just eat it upside down, because you couldn't see the chocolate the other way up. And I thought, I've just got to get this woman off my back. So I
Yeah.
went to see her and I said, look, I'm new to this organization. You've been here a very long time. So I expect you to watch my back. And she was great after that. But
Yeah,
until
because
then,
she
was
probably
good.
didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And she
Because
lived on the
people,
biscuit thing. So she let us,
yeah, people
let me
don't do
return
it
back
to
to
be
that.
difficult or obtuse or anything. It's their preference.
Yeah.
That's how they like to be managed. So they make an assumption that everybody likes to be managed the same way.
So sometimes feeding into somebody's style and saying, you're really good at this, please can you look after me in aspects of my role in this? So yeah, I wouldn't want somebody the same as me, because we clash. So I would be looking for the people with the other roles. I wouldn't want another one of me, for sure. So over to you, Amy. What have you learned and how are you going to put it into action?
It just confirmed who I am, but it also confirmed that I'm now in the right place, business, because my personality gives that. I'm fairly equal all around, so that's quite nice. But I'm equal in the fact that I love to help people and teach them, but also to lead them as well. So that's quite nice to have a confirmation today. I also think that some people just don't want to change. So if you're clashing, because we're business owners, it's okay to say, do you know what? Bye.
Absolutely.
See you later.
Yeah.
I have done that, and it's quite nice to say we don't fit.
Yeah. It's empowering, but also you can understand why you don't fit. It's nothing. It helps you stop taking it personally.
Yeah.
It's not a personal thing at all. It's just different energy, and the energies don't come together.
Yeah, and that's okay, and that's quite nice to know that it isn't you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I can remember during COVID, I was doing some work for somebody, and now it's clicked that they were obviously a blue, and we were on Zoom, and he said, I expect you to read through all my policies and procedures and all my health and safety guidelines. And I said, I have read through them, which is why you've got the draft copy. And he said, but you should approve them all, not me. And I said, but they're your procedures, so you've got to approve them. I said, because say, for example, on the health and safety front, only you will know what you do with petroleum and all these liquids when you're transporting them. And it was the first time I experienced cyberbullying. He said, step away from the computer. I was thinking, so that was really interesting. It got, really went into red. But some people are so into the detail, they think you've got to be into their detail too. And if you're not, step away from the computer. Yeah. So over to you, Yvonne. What have you learned? How are you going to put it into action?
I've learnt that as a cool blue, I'm not workable with, so that's interesting. I did have greens and yellows as well. So green was my next high colour. So hopefully that redeems me a little bit. But I definitely had no red. And one thing I absolutely hate is a spreadsheet. So I was quite surprised that blue would be a computer. I hate computer programs. I hate technology. I hate spreadsheets. So where that blue comes from,
it might be your job, Yvonne, because you do a lot with kind of the qualifications and assessment and proven evidence constantly. It might have come from there. Be interesting to see if he's still there in 12 months as a leading cool blue.
I'm surprised, Yvonne. You should know you are the list queen.
I do love a list, but I hate a spreadsheet.
A list is a similar thing. It's still very detailed, very
You show me an
precise, very
Excel
orderly.
spreadsheet, I'm switching off and going home.
Yeah.
Leslie, what have you learned? How are you going to put it into action?
Oh God, I've got so much going on. I don't think anyone wants to speak to me. I just get so riled. People don't listen to me, and I suppose I should not back down, but listen to where they're coming from, rather than all I can hear is them going, no, 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 no. I don't like to be managed. I don't like to be told what to do. And I've had this in many jobs, especially when I did supported housing. I was there for the people I looked after, I supported. Management got in the way.
Try using more information. Try giving more information.
Yeah. I'm not easy to work with. I know that.
So now you have some tools to reflect upon.
Yeah.
The
chances are when you're communicating, you're probably communicating X, Y, and Z, and people can't understand. They can't work as fast as you, so they need to understand B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. You know.
But that's very frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is for a fiery red. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you might need to give them A, B, and C.
Sally, you said something really interesting about this sort of male red behavior as well when I met you, not online today, and said, you know, men in particular go straight into telling you what to do in order to put it right, as opposed to saying, well, how are you feeling? Could you quickly run past that? Because that would be really interesting.
Yeah, just I think that comes back to the kind of hunter-gatherer of us being male, female, really, in that men were the providers and they were the fixers. So immediately, if you have a problem as a female, you know, you kind of sometimes just want someone to listen or to hear you out. You actually know how to fix it yourself, because we're quite independent women. We certainly all are. That's why we run our own businesses, you know. We're quite astute. We know our own mind. Sometimes we just want an arm around us, bit of a coach, and go, it's all going to be okay, it's going to be fine. Whereas men immediately will dive in and go, no, we have to fix it. Me man, me solve the problem, me take care of you, me fix. And that can be really frustrating as well. So sometimes you've got the fiery red energy, but the legacy behavior of the hunter-gatherer as well. So like I said, there's 72 personality types, you know. How complex is it? And how complex is it to try and guess which one you're dealing with all the time?
It's fun, isn't it? Gosh. So over to you, Sarah. How are you going to use this information with regards to helping people perhaps choose mortgages or understand people in their communications around choosing mortgages?
I think what Sally said earlier was really, really helpful in that. It's about, we really offer personal service and we're all about our clients. And it's about putting the information in a way that suits their personality style and how they need it. And we often say about meeting clients' needs, and there's probably one we've overlooked a little bit. And we do it because, you know, if, for instance, I had two clients on Friday with mortgages completed, and the way in which they reacted to that completion was completely different. Whereas one was, you know, the sunshine yellow, so grateful, so excited, and then the other one was like, great, thanks. And it's understanding that they probably felt exactly the same, but the way in which they responded was just their different styles of personality. So, and we do little things like we have WhatsApp groups with our clients and put all the information in there. And you do realize that actually sometimes they want, like you said, some of them want a lot of detail. They want to know exactly every little bit of information, and the others just want to know that their mortgage is going to complete, they're going to get a mortgage. So yeah, I think it's really well.
Incredible, Sally. Well, we built it up into something amazing. It was something amazing. What would be your final tip you would give us for us to be working in the right zone with the right people?
To be honest, it's the one thing I always leave people with. Start with just noticing. Just notice. Just start to notice, because maybe you're not experienced enough with the colour energies yet to make the big changes. But if you just start to notice this week, what you will notice by Friday, you're naturally making the changes.
Wonderful. So
spend a couple of days noticing, familiar yourselves with the good behaviours and the bad behaviours associated with all of the colour energies, and just start to notice.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Sally. And you're going to be dropping us the slides into the Iron Woman Academy group so we can pick them up. and people will have the recording of what we've covered today, so they can run through it again and go through the slides again as well. So
Just on that as well, if any of you do want a full profile, I'll do a discount to £99 for the group for those who are in here today. I won't be able to do that for everybody because they're expensive for me to run as well. You know, I mean, I'm absolutely dropping my margin there massively. But if any of you want a full profile, I'll do it for £99 today.
oh, thank you. Well, thank you,
Okay.
Sally. Huge round of applause for Sally. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Really
And
enjoyed
then
it.
Sunshine Yellow. Yeah, just
Can we do a sunshine? I'm going to pop us on gallery, and please can we do a sunshine wave to Sally? Thank you, Sally. That was amazing. Fantastic. So thank you,
everybody.